So today is September 11th, 2025, and I'm sure you are aware of the events that transpired yesterday. And I don't really feel like repeating them or going over them, but they caused me to do a lot of thinking. And a lot of processing. Obviously, there's a lot to process whenever something like that happens. It's a type of event that carries a lot of weight and can carry a lot of meaning and a lot of implication. And while a lot of people are talking about the political or social implications of Charlie Kirk's assassination, which are important, for whatever reason, my brain pretty quickly started to move in a different direction. Not that I didn't think about those things, I did, but the first thing that came to my mind once I had processed what had even happened and that it was real was I need to get my fucking life together. I need to move faster. I'm not moving fast enough. And I think the reason that's what crossed my mind is because this assassination made one thing very apparent to me. And I think if you're paying attention, it should make one thing very apparent to you as well. And that is that nobody is coming to save you. No one is coming to save you. And beyond that, beyond the fact that no one is coming to save you, the default state of the world is decay. By default, things get worse and things die. And I'm not talking about necessarily literal death, obviously, because it wasn't a natural death. That's not what I'm necessarily referring to. What I'm referring to is the decay and the degradation of anything, whether it be a culture, a society, an idea, a code of ethics, a code of laws, anything. The default state of any entity is decay. And in order to prevent decay, we must spend our life force, we must spend our energy actively combating and counteracting the natural decay of all things. The assassination of Charlie Kirk is a painful reminder, an extremely painful reminder of how far we have fallen. How far we have fallen as a country in the United States of America. How far we have fallen as humans, as a human race. And I don't want to get too deep into that, but it is important to bring it up to give you context for the main thing that I want to talk about in this video. The default state of all entities is decay. Everything is constantly decaying, everything is constantly getting worse. If you run a business, you know this. You absolutely understand this if you run a business. If you do nothing in your business, it will shrink and die. You will lose customers, you will lose clients, you will make less money. Things will get worse if you don't actively work towards making them better. And this is true with society, this is true with culture, this is true with countries and laws, this is true in all realms. This is true with your body. If you've ever gotten into any sort of decent physical shape, you know that. If you've ever been in decent physical shape and then gotten out of decent physical shape, you definitely know that. The default state of all things is decay. Now, how does this apply to the fact that no one is coming to save you? Well, if you think someone is coming to save you, I don't know if there's anything I can say to help you. The ironic thing is, I think, at this point, I may truly believe that if you believe believe that someone is coming to save you, then that is the very thing that makes you beyond saving. And I'm not going to be so arrogant as to pretend to know what God's plans are. But I have a suspicion that one thing that God may be trying to teach us, people, humans, whatever, is that we need to take responsibility for ourselves and stop relying on outside forces to save us, to fix our lives, to get our shit together for us. Nobody is coming to save you. There's only one person who could fix your life, and that is you. Now, the reason that I think this was on my mind and on my heart after coming to terms with Charlie Kirk's assassination is because a lot of people, and I know a lot of people like this, a lot of people look up to people like Charlie Kirk, like Donald Trump, like whomever. And again, I don't care whether or not you like Charlie Kirk or didn't like Charlie Kirk or like Donald Trump or don't like Donald Trump. I don't care. Couldn't care less. But for the purposes of this video, don't care. What does matter is there are people who believe that Donald Trump is going to fix all of their problems, all of their personal problems. That he's going to somehow magically fix everything, and then they won't have to solve their personal problems anymore. Everything will just be better for them, and everything's going to be great. There are also people who believe that all of their personal problems are directly caused by Donald Trump, and that if he would just go away, that their life would be perfect, right? There are morons on both sides who take no personal accountability. And to me, this assassination was a very painful reminder that no one is coming to save you. God bless Charlie Kirk. God bless his family. God bless him for everything he did throughout his life. I don't agree with him. I didn't agree with him on everything. I agreed with him on a lot, but not everything. And that's fine. I had a lot of respect for him. But what he did with his life was he encouraged healthy conversation and healthy debate across the political aisle. And I think that is one of the greatest things that has been done in the last decade. So I have a massive amount of admiration for that. However, no matter what good someone else is doing in the world, it is not going to significantly improve your life. There is nothing that anyone else in the world can do that will significantly improve your life. Donald Trump could eliminate taxes completely tomorrow, and your life would not get that much better. It wouldn't. Charlie Kirk could have convinced every leftist to change their opinions and change all their minds and stop being crazy, and your life would not have gotten that much better. Now, when someone is taken away like that, someone who people look up to, I think it can serve as a reminder that you should not put your faith in anyone but yourself. I'm not talking about faith in God. That's not what I'm talking about. Right? But I don't believe you should put your faith in any mortal man above yourself, because you are the only one who can truly affect your life and change your life. You are the only one responsible for keeping your life the same. And you are the only one who has to live as you every day. And if your life sucks, you have to live with that every day. If your life becomes awesome, you get to live that life every single day. And when you adopt that mindset of ultimate personal accountability and personal responsibility, nobody is coming to save you goes from a terrifying and depressing and demoralizing statement to a motivating, encouraging, and freeing statement. It goes from nobody's coming to save me, therefore I'm fucked, to nobody is coming to save me, therefore I must save myself. Alright, just finished teaching classes for the night. Going to continue some of my thoughts from on the drive here. So what's important to understand is that those core concepts that apply universally also apply personally. Once you understand that nobody is coming to save you, you need to understand what that actually means. That means that your health is not going to improve unless you improve it, unless you take the actions required to improve it. That means that your financial situation is not going to improve unless you take actions to improve it. And it means that your relationships are not going to improve unless you take the actions required to improve them. It means that nothing in your life is going to get any better unless you take the actions to improve it. Now I know, look, you can get lucky, things can happen, blessings can happen, that's awesome. Those are icing on the cake. Those are a special bonus. Those are a magical surprise when they happen. And they're awesome, and you should be extremely grateful for them, but you shouldn't rely on them. It's like people who play the lottery, and they rely on that to get rich. They're like, oh, I'm gonna buy lottery tickets every day. I'm gonna spend all my extra money on lottery tickets, and then I'm gonna win the Powerball, and then I'm gonna be a billionaire. That's my plan. It's like, no, that's not going to happen. If you want to play the lottery, expect nothing, and then if you win something, it's a nice bonus. I'm not recommending you play the lottery. I don't think it's good odds, but it's the same thing anywhere in life. I'm not saying don't be open and receptive to blessings and positive circumstances. You absolutely should be, but you should understand that those are extra. Those are icing on the cake. Those are a special surprise. Those are not what's going to make your life better. You need to build the foundation so that you actually have a strong foundation for your life, but also so that you have the foundation, you have the cake that icing can be put on. You need to bake the cake before you put the icing on it. And again, those things are just icing on the cake. Those extra blessings you might get, they're wonderful, but they're just icing on the cake. You can't rely on them, and you shouldn't lie to yourself and fool yourself into thinking that some genie is going to come along and grant you wishes and magically change your life, because the world doesn't work that way. And unfortunately, I think the events of yesterday are a very unpleasant reminder of that. Interestingly enough, that my brain even went there, but I think it's a very important reminder. The next most important thing to understand, as I take you with me, as I clean my dojo, the next most important thing to understand is that universal laws of the universe, apply at different levels. So, that means that laws that apply on a macro scale, and a universal scale, also apply on a micro scale and a personal scale. So, just like how I spoke about earlier when I was in the car, how all things are in a universal state of decay, the same is true internally for you personally. The exact same thing is true for everything in your personal life. So if you don't take care of your health, and you don't do what you need to do in order to be healthy and strong, you are going to experience the effects of decay. If you don't take care of your finances, and you don't do what you need to do to keep your finances in order, then you're going to experience decay. And any of you who have ever tried dating a woman know this. Very much applies to your relationships as well. It applies to all relationships, not just romantic relationships. But if you don't maintain a relationship, it will experience decay. Now, again, there are different stats, levels for each of these things, right? So, for example, my best friend, we'll call him Mark, because that's his name. Him and I have been best friends for about about 23 years now. Coming up on 23 years now. And there were periods of time over the past half a decade or so where we basically didn't talk for like a year, 2 years, barely talked. And then when we started talking again, it wasn't for any particular reason other than just we got busy. And when we started talking again, we just picked back up where we left off. And it was like, man, I missed you. Like, we just both got busy. We grew up playing video games together. I stopped playing video games. We stopped talking. And then we both kind of realized, like, wait, we need to be more deliberate about this now that we're adults. We can't just, like, circumstantially communicate. We need to actually be deliberate about it. Other relationships perhaps require different levels of input in order to be maintained. For example, a romantic relationship might require significantly more input in order to be maintained. And also different women, you got something, different women, or men, whatever you're into, require different amounts of maintenance, right? And it's the same thing the other way around. Again, like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that if I'm in a relationship with a woman that I don't have certain maintenance expectations or desires or wants or needs from her, and I understand that she has certain wants from me. Now, we need to communicate that and all that, but again, this isn't a relationship video. This is meant to be a metaphor. I don't want to get too deep into it. But the point being, everything in life requires maintenance. If you do not stimulate a muscle, it will not grow. That isn't all, though. Everyone knows that. If you do not stimulate a muscle, it will shrink after enough time. If you do not put more money in your bank account, eventually you will run out. It goes beyond that with finances, though. If you do not increase your income, eventually inflation, taxes, whatever else wants to take your money, bills, everything else, eventually all of those things will cause your life to be more expensive to live. So it is not simply enough to stay put. It is not simply enough to do the same things you have always done, because there will eventually be decay. Whether it is because of a lack of depth of awareness that causes you to think that you're doing the same thing you've always done, when in fact you're not doing the same thing you've always done. You are slowly doing less and less. Or whether it's something that has a stronger natural decay. For example, something that even if you do the same thing over and over and over and over again, exactly the same, eventually there will still be decay, right? You even see that with, it's kind of the opposite end of the spectrum of progressive overload. Progressive overload, again, if you just lift the same weights over and over and over and over again, you'll eventually get diminishing returns. This is the negative of that, right? Decay is the negative of that. Anyway, I don't want to get too deep into concepts of what the concept of decay means. That's not the point of this video. But you need to understand that all things will naturally decay. Right? The natural state of the universe is a state of decay. When you understand this, and you apply this to your life, and you accept this reality, the next question is, what the fuck do I do about it? Now, if you're asking that question, then you're already ahead of most people. Most people don't even ask, what do I do about it? They just go, oh, that sucks. Oh, I guess that's just how it is. If life's gonna fuck you, fuck back. Or perhaps better, if life's gonna hit you, hit back. So, again, what are you going to do about it? If the natural state of things is decay, then the question you should be asking is, what can I do to negate or counterbalance this state of decay? Right? If everything always gets worse, if enshittification is an unavoidable principle of the universe, then what can I do about it? What can I do to make my life better while the world gets worse? Because with a lot of things going on right now, I think that is the question that a lot of people need to be asking. Particularly young people. People my age or younger or a little older need to be asking. They need to be looking at the world and they need to be saying, wow, the world is shit. But the problem is many people, especially Gen Z and Gen Alpha, are looking at the world and they're going, wow, the world is shit. I don't want to live in a world like this. This sucks. Which is a very understandable response. But it is a suboptimal response. It is not the optimal response. The optimal response is to say, wow, the world is shit. How can I interact with the world in such a way that my experience of the world becomes as enjoyable and enriching as possible? And that's not a purely selfish thing, because a truly fulfilling and enriching life is one that involves blessing other people as well and being of service to other people as well. All right, you ready for a satisfying sound? I don't know if you hear it. Ready? Fucking love that sound. Anyway, so the question you need to be asking is, what do I do about the state of decay of the world, the natural state of decay of the universe? And the answer is, try to improve your life as much as possible so that your experience of the universe can be optimized. How do you do that? So now, to tie this all in, you guys get the best view in the house right now. To tie this all in to the realizations that I had following Charlie Kirk's assassination. I've been on some level of self-improvement really since 2019, probably 2020. I would say since 2019. And it's great. I've made a lot of progress. My life is so much better than it was in 2019 when I first started. My health is better in so many ways. But what this event made me realize is that basically I'm not moving fast enough. I'm not doing enough and I'm not moving fast enough. Now, you have to be very careful with that type of thinking, because it's very easy for that to lead into burnout producing territory, which you need to be very careful of. It's something I've experienced before, and it's something you need to guard against. But if I look at my progress, I've made a lot of progress. But I could be making progress way faster. And part of what this event made me realize is that I'm not moving quickly enough. Now, there are different philosophies on how to move quicker. One is to just do more, work harder, cram more shit into your schedule, sleep less, all that dumb hustle culture bullshit that frankly doesn't work for most people. Some people are built different, some people are wired different. Frankly, I don't think you should learn from or take advice from people who are built different. I think you should learn from and take advice from people who used to struggle at the thing you want to get good at and are now successful in it. One of the biggest mistakes that I see a lot is that people choose to learn from other people who learned the thing they want to learn easily. For example, and it's not always bad, but I don't think it's necessarily good either. Especially as a beginner in any field, in any realm, I don't think the best move, generally, there are exceptions of course, like with any rule, but generally I don't think the best move is to learn from someone who learned that thing easily. I think the best move is to learn from someone who learned from that thing with some level of difficulty, who's been through the same struggles you've been through, right? Part of what makes me such a good martial arts instructor is that I used to really suck at martial arts. I was really bad. I was terrible. But I learned how to solve all the problems that I came across, and I can now teach more effectively than someone who never came across those problems in the first place. You need to learn from people who've actually been through the journey you've been through. If someone is built different, their journey isn't going to be the same as you. If they're the type of person that can work 18 hours a day and they actually get results, they're not built the same as you, right? You're going to need different advice, which actually ties into part of what I want to do with this YouTube channel. Not to jump ahead, but part of what I want to do with this channel is take people along my journey so that other people who are more creative and who have tried hustle culture and failed, and it failed them, can actually find advice that applies to them and have success in their lives. Now, back to the main point at hand. I've learned in the past, as I said, that hustle culture didn't work for me. It failed me. So I need to move forward in a way that actually suits me. Trying harder, cramming more shit into my schedule, all that stuff doesn't work for me. I've tried it before, and it just leads to burnout and health problems. And you look back on the week and back on the month, and I didn't get any more done than I would have otherwise. Maybe I got more done in a day, but then I got less done for the rest of the week. It just doesn't work. It's not sustainable. So, the key for me is to find a way, and the key for anyone is to find a way to improve their output with methods and systems that actually align with how the person operates. And you need to be very intentional and deliberate and intelligent about this, because it's very easy for laziness to creep in and to create excuses when you're trying to assess your systems. Again, these are all topics for different videos and a different time. All right, sorry for the quality and lighting change. I am driving home now, so it's going to look a little different. It's nighttime. So, in short, I have realized that I need to be doing things differently, and I need to be doing a lot more and making a lot more progress. Now, there's two main steps to this. First step is not what people think. People think, oh, it means I need to add more things, right? We just talked about this with the whole hustle culture thing. Just add. Does not work, in my experience. The first step you need to do is actually to remove things. You need to eliminate anything from your life that is holding you back, right? So this is my experience right now. It's like, okay, I need to ask myself, I'm not moving at the speed I want to move at. What is weighing me down? What is chaining me down? What is causing me to not move at the pace I want to move at? What is causing me to lack acceleration? And I need to look at those areas of my life, and I need to eliminate things. So if you want to do the same thing, you can look at your life and you can ask yourself, what's holding me back? And then you can find those things and you can strategically eliminate them. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be a lot easier, and you're going to get a lot further, a lot faster than if you try to push through and with those things still on board. So whether it's addiction to a substance or addiction to a form of entertainment or anything else that wastes your time, wastes your energy, and is holding you back from moving forward into greater things in your life, the first thing you need to do is to eliminate that. And then the second thing you need to do is you need to add in new things. Because obviously eliminating those things is going to leave a void. That void is going to be uncomfortable. You need to learn to be comfortable with that void, but then you also need to learn how to fill it. You need to learn how to fill it with the right things instead of useless things. One of the realizations I had, and I've had this realization, I've been having this realization for a little while now, but the events of yesterday kind of heightened my sense of it. There's things I wanted to do for a long time that I'm not doing. And I'm not really meaningfully moving closer to doing them either. Right? Like, one example is this YouTube channel. This is something I've wanted to do for a long time. I posted my first video like 2 years ago, over 2 years ago. I posted a few more videos like a year and a half ago, and then I haven't posted anything else since. And I don't like that. It doesn't sit right with me. Just because filming videos isn't like a natural habit of mine doesn't mean that I shouldn't push through and try to pursue this. And, you know, I talk to myself about these types of things all the time. I would be having this conversation with myself if I wasn't filming. So why not film it? You know? I'd either be talking to myself or I'd be having a conversation with ChatGPT. Seriously, about this. Like, I would be talking. One way or the other, I would be processing this verbally. So why not share it with you guys and see if someone else finds it valuable as well? There are plenty of other things that I want to do with my time that I'm not going to get too deep into right now. There are a couple I will mention though, because they're a couple that were particularly heightened by recent events. Number one, it's made me really think about income sourcing and location freedom. I have grown a lot in the last couple of years. In the last 2 years, I've grown my martial arts school from complete scratch, 0 students, last 25 months, I've grown from 0 students to now being at 45 students. That's incredible. That's awesome, and I'm incredibly grateful for it. However, I am still tied down to where I live. It's a brick and mortar business. I am locked down to this location. I can't leave and continue to run my business. If things continue to go downhill in America, I'm going to get less and less comfortable with that. I'm already pretty uncomfortable with it. I was already pretty uncomfortable with it. Now I'm even more uncomfortable with it. So I realized, okay, I need some sort of location agnostic income. I need income that I can have from anywhere. So if for some reason I have to abandon the school and shut it down, I can do that and I can live anywhere in the world with online income. That's the first thing I realized. Ideally, I would like to avoid doing that. But second thing is I would like to be able to travel. I have not traveled in my life. I used to go to Florida growing up until I was like 12, 13 years old, something like that. I've been once since for a funeral, which hardly counts. And other than that, I haven't traveled. I have basically no traveling experience. I haven't been on a plane in over a decade. Actually, it might be close to 2 decades now. It's been a very long time since I've been on a plane. And I would really love to travel. I would love to experience the world. And I'm 27 years old. I'm young, but I'm not that young anymore. And I would really like the opportunity to travel. I want to visit a lot of places. Additionally, I also just want the location freedom aspect of travel. I want to be able to live wherever I want in the world because I want to be able to live somewhere that's safe. I want to be able to live somewhere where my values are respected. I want to be able to live somewhere where I don't have to worry about someone targeting me because of any of my attributes, whether it's my race or the way I dress or the way I carry myself or my political beliefs. I don't want to have to worry about that. You guys are going to get lost in CJ because my voice is going, so it's cough drop time. I want the resilience of being able to live anywhere I want in the world, so that if what a country provides no longer suits me, I can just move on to another country. I'm only going to live once. I'm only here once. As far as I know, I'm only here once. I was not born to live in the same town I grew up in for my entire life, to do the same things every day until I get old and then die. That's not what I was born to do. I was born for adventure. Now, adventure might look a little different for me, being an introvert, being someone who's maybe a little more naturally reserved and timid. Again, naturally, I'm something I've worked through a lot of, but I've still got a lot of work to go. But it might look different for me than it does for someone else, but I still need to learn how to adventure. I need to have those experiences as a man. Some of my most memorable experiences are not when like bad things happened or anything like that, but just being out in the world. Being out in the world with the boys and going and doing stuff and living adventures. So I want that freedom. But I also want the freedom from the problems that America is now possessed by. And what I realized is that at the rate I'm moving, I'm never going to get there. So I need a change. I need a change in my input. If you want to receive a different output, you need to change your input. If you go to a calculator and you keep typing 2 plus 2, you're always going to get 4. You need a different input if you want a different output. Life is the same way. If you want life to give you different results, you need to give it different input. So I need to do something differently if I'm going to achieve my goals. So one of them is starting this YouTube channel back up again. I'm going to try to post as frequently as I can. I'm not going to commit to an exact schedule right now, but I'm going to try to post as frequently as I can. And I'm going to try to provide thoughtful and valuable content. A lot of it is probably going to just be stuff like this when I'm talking through an idea, because I naturally do that a lot. And I think there are people out there who will find it valuable to just hear how I process my way through an idea. And maybe it gives them something to think about that they hadn't thought about before. And maybe that inspires them or encourages them or helps them in some way navigate their life more effectively, which would make me incredibly happy and feel incredibly fulfilled. Another thing, I need to get my passport. I need to develop some sort of online income. And I need to build my life. I need to rebuild my life, build my life. And I figure, what better value can I provide to the world than documenting that journey? Of course, like the old saying goes, the best time to plant the tree was 100 years ago, the second best time is today, right? Would it have been best for me to have continued on from 2.5 years ago, or a little more than 2 years ago when I first started filming this? Yeah, I hadn't even started my dojo yet back then. Like, imagine if I had documented the whole journey, that'd be incredible, but I didn't. But I can still document from here. I can document from September 10th, or September 11th, excuse me. I can document from September 11th, 2025 onward. I can go from here and I can document forward. I can go from where I'm at, 45 students at my school, taking home about $3,000 to $3.5 grand a month after regular business expenses, and I can take you guys on the journey from there to wherever I end up, building a whole new life for myself, or building my life up from here. And I figure, what better way to give something to the world than to document my journey, and document my journey of building a life that suits me. It might not look the same as a life that suits you, but maybe you can take something from it. It might not look the same as a life that suits other people you see online, and that's fine. Maybe I get to provide something a little bit different and a little bit unique. But my goal is to build my ultimate version of the masculine experience. That means building myself up physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, building both the internal and external success that I want to have in my life. Because again, I only have one opportunity to live life, and I want to make it the best experience that it can be. Now, obviously, this is going to be a learning experience with a lot of trial and error, but that's what this channel is all about. This channel is all about taking the lessons I learn as I learn them, or perhaps some lessons that I've learned in the past as well, and sharing them with you guys, and hopefully blessing some of you guys with some of what I've had to learn the hard way, or maybe some things I've learned from other people as well, and hopefully communicating it to you in a way that connects with some people and that can help people navigate life more effectively. And I'll talk about all sorts of topics. I'll talk about whatever I want to talk about. I'll talk about freedom, I'll talk about life, I'll talk about masculinity, I'll talk about health and fitness, I'll talk about money and finances, I'll talk about spirituality, I'll talk about women and dating, I'll talk about whatever I feel like talking about. I'll talk about guitar or whatever else, right? Anything I feel like talking about, I will talk about. And if you find it interesting too, you can come along for the ride, you can come along for the journey, and you're welcome to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this and you want to be a part of this journey. Follow me along for the ride as I go through life and try to figure this thing out and try to achieve an exceptional life without burning out, without the hustle culture nonsense that just doesn't work for everyone, and while doing it with integrity and joy, doing it in a way that actually connects with my soul and who I am as a person. And maybe, for some of you, it'll be a way that connects with you as well. Now, as for you, you probably already know what you need to do. There's probably something that you've been putting off, that you really want to do, but you haven't made the time, that you wish you had started months or years ago, and you never did, for whatever reason. I encourage you to take this as an opportunity to start now. Start as soon as possible. Either start now, or if you're watching this at night, write it down for your to-do list tomorrow. Something. Doesn't have to be anything revolutionary, though I think you should plan revolutionary things as well. But if you don't start now, then when are you going to start? And if you don't save yourself, then who will? Remember, nobody is coming to save you. If you want to live a good life that is fulfilling and that connects with your soul, that is entirely up to you. That is entirely your responsibility. So, if you want to live a good life that actually connects with your soul and connects with who you are as a person, it is up to you. So, whether you decide to come with me on this journey or not, whether or not you decide to subscribe and we want to see more videos like this, either way, please start now. Take responsibility for your life. Start changing your life one little piece at a time. You don't have to change it all in a day. But start changing one little piece at a time and keep changing pieces. Keep reassessing. Keep moving forward. That way you don't get stuck, you don't get stagnant, you don't begin to decay. Keep moving forward. Keep progressing. Keep saving yourself. Because it's the only way you're ever going to get anywhere you want to be. You only get to live one life. Don't settle for anything less than your dreams. Pursue them. See where they lead. You might find yourself somewhere different. You might find yourself somewhere that you actually like better. But you'll never end up where you're supposed to be if you don't try to go to where you want to be. So again, nobody's coming to save you. So I suggest you save yourself. And while this video started off very solemn and very sad, I feel like it's ending on a very encouraging note. So I hope you take that as some encouragement and as some motivation. And I hope you actually do something. And if you want to leave a comment, let me know. If you want to share, you don't have to, but if you want to share whatever the thing is that you things are that you have been putting off and you want to start doing now, and that you want to start taking responsibility for to change your life, to save yourself, I would love to talk about it with you in the comments. Feel free to leave a comment. We can discuss it together. And I'd really like to hear, and I think I'd find it encouraging to hear what it is that you guys are working on or would like to start working on and you've been putting off and would like to start now. Again, I've been putting off starting this channel for years, documenting my life, building a personal brand, and it's been too long. All right, it's been long enough. I need to start now. And that's what this channel is about, taking you on the journey with me of building my life the way I want to live it in a way that connects with my soul. So I hope it connects with some of you too. And I hope you have a wonderful, blessed day, night, whatever time it is where you are. And I don't really have a plan. Don't really have a plan beyond here for the channel. We're going to make it up as we go. I'm going to plan as I go. We're going to see what I feel like talking about, and we're going to see what this turns into. So I hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you in the next one.